years, 380 episodes later, and you're saying goodbye to this character. What do you remember about the first time you stepped on that Grey's set in 2008?
I remember being nervous. You know, it still is, but at that time it was a very hot and very, very popular show, and it was kind of red hot. So I was joining a show, and I'd been the lead of 2 shows before that. It's the first time I joined a show that was such a juggernaut. So I was nervous. I remember the night before I went into my first day, I was really nervous. But luckily, I walked into the makeup trailer, and who would I first meet was Patrick Dempsey. Patrick and I had done a film just a few months earlier called Maid of Honor with Michelle Monaghan. Patrick was like a friendly face, so he kind of helped me break the ice, and it took me around, was very gentlemanly, and introduced me to everybody. And that really helped, having a friendly face who knew me. And then that afternoon, the first day, I did the scene in the scrub in the trauma room with Christina Yang, so I got to meet Sandra.
Wow. You're not numbed?
So, and I think pretty quickly she realised and we realised that we're both come from the theatre. So I think that bonded us quite quickly. And that was it. By the end of that day, we were just laughing. We pretty much knew we were going to get along.
Yeah.
So it started as a very nerve-wracking day and ended as well as I could have hoped.
One of our very first Grey's interview was back in 2008. We actually have that clip.
Yeah, you do know.
And you were introduced to us as the new Grey's Anatomy hunk.
Oh my God, I'm in the hallways of the
You
hospital.
worry as a new guy coming in that you're going to tread on toes or people aren't going to be as welcoming to you. And everybody's been so sweet and supportive and encouraging to me. That might change, but at the moment, they've been fantastic. Everybody's really committed. What I love to see is that, you know, the show's on its, was this 5th season? And like everybody's still committed to just coming in for the next scene. What is the next scene? Let's make this scene work and make it perfect and make it sing. Okay, that's done. Let's, you know, because TV shows it can.
You know what I see? You know what I noticed the most is that they dyed my hair. One of the contingencies, they literally, Shonda was like, "I'm going to offer you the role, Kevin, on one condition." And I said, "What?" She said, "I only see the character with brown hair. Are you willing to dye it brown?" And I said, "I'll dye it any color you want."
Yeah, you're like, "Listen, I'm in."
Oh, you can dye it. You can give me multicolored hair. I can have a rainbow hairdo. I don't care. So that's why I look at them. Wow, they dyed my hair brown because I'm naturally blonde, kind of redhead.
Yes.
And then it eventually kind of coalesced into like a redhead. But that's so funny to
How
see.
wild. Yeah, when you go back this time, what would you tell Kevin then
Oh.
as he prepares for this journey ahead?
I would say, Kev, enjoy it. You know, enjoy this journey. This is a blessing. To be an actor in this industry and to be on a show playing the same role and to get to be a director and to get to create a family and a home in this environment is so unusual and so rare and so special and so unique. Enjoy it and grasp it and just, you know, and be grateful every minute.
What I thought was so interesting too is you're talking about a show that's the longevity of season 5, and you're saying that then. Now here we are, season 22.
I know.
That you to acknowledge season 5, but then how much more of the show? Like, how rare is that as an actor to have such a long role and to be on a show?
In our show, I remember season 5, all the chat, we would all sit around on the set. We would say, how many, you know, all the actors would go, how many seasons do you think we have left? And Justin Chambers and Patrick would all go, yeah, I think we maybe got 1, maybe 2 more seasons. You know, because I remember back then the ratings had kind of peaked and are starting to do that. But then what happened around season 8, 9, 10, this Netflix became a thing. Netflix became fully online, and our show became such a huge part of that streaming, that kind of
And
that
then you're binging, you're catching up.
Yeah, which wasn't a thing until then. So
Wow,
this
how
whole new
interesting the
generation,
changing media, yeah.
So suddenly this new generation, this younger generation, were introduced to that show and then latched on, and it gave the show this whole other life. And it really was because of that streaming thing that
Yeah, it's so
created that.
interesting.
You know?
And you were the new guy then, but then you've gone on to welcome so many people after you. What was it like to be, you know, did you feel like a mentor to these new actors and actresses, or did you feel like you were a part of the welcoming crew?
Yeah, no, I did. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember I said to everyone, to Jesse Williams, to, you know, everyone that's come in, all the new interns, like, I'm here. I've been in your shoes because they're all joining. I wasn't an original cast member. They're not original cast members, and it's intimidating. And I get it, and I have empathy, and I understand, and I've walked in your shoes. So if you want anything, if you need, you just walk around the stages and talk it out. You know, I am here because I've been there. So hope, and some people took me up on it.
Yeah. Of all the episodes you've been a part of, do you possibly have a favorite? Is there one that sticks out?
I would say this finale is an incredibly strong finale. I think as an actor, I think it was one of my actor and director, because I directed and acted in it. I think it's one of my favorites.
Do you feel like Grey's gave you that opportunity to be able to hone both of those crafts and
Absolutely,
simultaneously?
absolutely. You know, I was not a director. I had a desire and ambition to become a director, but nobody had given me that chance until I came to Grey's, and Shonda and Rob Corn and everyone just said, when I expressed my interest, they said, if you show us your commitment to it, then we'll give you a chance eventually. And it took a few years, but yeah. So I became a director. I have a production company because of it. I'm so grateful for it.
What's more nerve-wracking, stepping onto set for the first day, joining a recurring cast, or the night before you're about to direct your first episode of Grey's?
I gotta say, because I'd been an actor for a long time before I joined Grey's. I've been acting professionally for about 15, 16 years. It was nerve-wracking, but I could handle it. I remember my first episode, I think it was in season 7. I did not sleep the entire episode. I couldn't turn my brain off because that thing when I am so focused on every last detail and terrified and feel completely out of my depth. So I remember that. It was almost like jet lag the entire episode. I couldn't sleep. And I'd say for the first 3 or 4 episodes, I had the worst insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I was so nervous.
So does this mean the door's open for you to come back and direct more episodes like we were talking about earlier?
Absolutely, yeah. Grace is my family and my home now. I've been there for 20 years. One of the main producers is the godmother to my kids, and who knows, maybe, there could be a little pop-in appearance now and then.
Okay, so that's my next question, of course, yeah. So the door's open for that. So you think there's a possibility that you could have, a reoccurring guest spot or coming back on? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's something that you would be open to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no bad blood at all. The thing that's gonna be hard is I miss working with everybody every day.
Yeah.
Miss working with Kim Raven. I miss working with all the ADs, and the crew are like family at this point. So yeah, any opportunity I get, I'd take it with both arms.
Yeah. Fans over the years have had mixed opinions to your character, especially when it comes to his romantic relationships.
Right.
I'm curious what you say to that.
I would see it as a failure if I was like, my character was kind of somebody that people went, yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, we kind of like him. I'd be like, that's not a good sign. That's not a good thing. It's like going to a restaurant that's just I'd rather have somebody have a strong feeling about what my character's doing. Then I know I'm on the right track. And this, the character of Owen Hunt was created, as this very passionate, very loyal, and very damaged person. He was an army veteran who'd been through PTSD and was dealing with that when he first joined the show in season 5. So he was very provocative and Shonda Rhimes designed Owen kind of as a bit of an antagonist, a heroic antagonist who could swing from being really heroic and wonderful one minute and then have this swings to, because he was quite volatile as a character. And I think I did that. I think that's why people have these strong reactions to him. And there's quite a lot of debate. There's some of the fandom love him and will support him and defend him, and other ones like, I can't stand him. And I'm like, that's great.
I know,
that's a success story. Yeah, in my mind.
Wait, I'm curious for you when you'd get the scripts and you'd read some of these things. Like, was that for you? Were you ever in the writers' room discussing with the writers, like, okay, what do we think about this?
Yeah. In those early seasons, I would come in and I remember I strangled Christina. When I had all these pigs and I was stabbing them all and told the interns to save them. Like really quite strong, provocative stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I go to Shonda's office and go, is this gonna be okay? Like, I really like it here, and like I keep making me do these bad things. Like, I don't know. And she's like, trust me, just trust. She was like, just play it to the best of your ability. I have your back. She kept saying to me, she was like, I know you're worried, but I've got your back. I have a plan. And she did, and because she's Shonda Rhimes, she's a genius.
Of course.
And I did. I trusted her, and here we are.
Speaking of Shonda, she said she promised fans a happy ending that Teddy and Owen's story deserves. Are you satisfied with how we said goodbye to these characters?
I think it shows a lot of growth in the character of Owen, that Teddy kind of chased after him a lot in a lot of the seasons and would kind of follow Owen wherever he was going. He saves this family in this bridge collapse. And that family kind of is a metaphor for Owen's trauma comes from in Iraq all those years ago when all his platoon were killed in front of him and he was the only survivor and he wasn't able to save his best friend from bleeding out. And he's been carrying that as his wound, really, all of his life since that happened. And in a way, that family that he had a chance to save in the bridge collapse in the finale episode of the season, it was kind of the completion of his story and the healing of that wound, even metaphorically,
Yeah.
And he took that and realized that that life is too short and I can't live without this woman, and I'm going to follow her now. It's my turn to follow her and for her to take the lead and for her to drive the car and for me to be beside her and support her.
Yeah.
And it shows real growth for Owen.
It really does. And it's so crazy. We spoke with you and Kim on our ET stage a few years ago, and you joked about making a pact to lead the show together.
How much longer do you see Grey's Anatomy going on for? Another 21 seasons? Are we making a pact that neither of us can leave without the other?
I think Teddy and Owen definitely, they've been through so much. So much that I think I think there's a lot more to their story. I think, personally.
I know, we were just talking about it, which we're not going to tell any of you all.
We were having meetings
We were having meetings
Meg
and
about
really
what we really think, where we think Teddy and Owen are headed.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, I think, and beautiful, and it kind of culminates and wraps up a lot of their, where all the trauma they've been through.
It's like,
so there you go.
It's full circle.
It happened.
Yeah. So what was those conversations like between you two? When you knew that this was.
Yeah, it's for me, it's definitely bittersweet. But it felt right. There was always part of me for a few seasons there. I was like, maybe Christina's going to come back, and because that was always the original love triangle was Teddy, Owen, and Christina. But the more life has gone on for Teddy and Owen, and they've been down so many roads together. They have beautiful children together, and they really are each other's oldest best friends. So I think Kim and I both felt it's bittersweet that we're leaving, but the fact that the characters leave together and move into what I love is, and I remember Meg said that she was like, we don't want to do any more deaths on the show for two reasons. We've had quite a few in the last few years, and it's hard for the fans, and also the world feels quite kind of dark and scary at the moment. And I think she felt strongly, and I agree, that we should be sending out a message for this exit of two characters who walk into the next chapter of their life in a really joyful way, and turn the page and sort of recommit to each other, and move into the next chapter of their life together. I think it's a really beautiful message right now. There's a real sense of things coming full circle for a lot of the characters, and a lot of complications that are being planted for next season. So I think it really packs a big emotional punch for people, and people shouldn't miss it.
It really does, truly. Ellen Pompeo, Debbie Allen also appear in this episode. What was it like to work with them? One more time.
One more time. It's great. Ellen and Chandra, they're like family to me, and I love when Owen gets scenes with Chandra. That's one of my favorite things. We didn't have any scenes in this episode, but she's such a fantastic actor, such a great character, and such a supporter of the ensemble of our show, that she wants us all to stay as a family. And Ellen, whenever she comes back, it's always like, she is Meredith Grey, so it's like, the main person is coming back. So it always puts a spring in everybody's step when she's back home.
What do you think you've learned the most about playing Dr. Owen all these years?
Oh, wow. There's so many things I've learned about life from Owen. It's okay for life to be messy sometimes. It's okay, as long as you're waking up each day trying to show up, just do better, make better choices, improve from yesterday. Nobody can expect perfection from anyone. And, I think that's what I've learned from him, is that he is not afraid to be flawed, and to admit that he's trying to do better each day.
Yeah. Do you feel like he's one of those characters that's going to stay with you? Like you'll see little hints of him, and as you continue on and play other characters?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He's such a kind of complicated, multi-layered character with a lot of heart, and Owen's gonna be with me forever.
You can't unring the bell.
I know. I'm gonna try like hell.
Also, can we talk about the accent? Because obviously you have a Scottish accent, but your accent is so good on the show. It's like, I can't believe that you're not American.
I know. I remember the entire first season. One of the only things I demanded, I said, I want to get this right. So I said I need to have a dialect coach for this first season, and I think she stayed for about 5 episodes.
Okay, yeah.
And that was invaluable to me. She's called Judy Dixon, best dialect coach in LA, and she just drilled me the whole time, and I really wanted it to be dead on. So thank you, I appreciate that. Sometimes when I get tired, or if it's been a long day,
slip out.
Meg will come up to me and say, "That was a wee bit Scottish, Kevin."
The wee bit.
Let's go again. Let's go again. But on the whole, I think I'm pretty good at it.
The final goodbye is that last day on set, the celebration. Can you walk me through what that looked like? Were there tears? What were the emotions there? You said there was a cake, there was a party, a celebration.
Yeah, it was, we were shooting way out in Valencia, and so the last 2 days of filming, we're not at our normal studios, we were on location. This huge set piece that was very complicated to shoot, so I was so kind of in my organizing director brain that I wasn't really able to take it in, but through the last 2 days, cast kept driving out all the way to Valencia, which is far, to come and kind of see me and hang out and be be on set for a while, because I think people realized it was a big moment.
Yeah.
My kids came to set, my partner Danielle came to set, and so we were all kind of together at the end, and only when we wrapped did I kind of realize, and that the cake came out and all this, and I was kind of in shell shock because I was still kind of working in work mode. And it was only when I got in the car to go to LAX and sat in my seat in the plane on the red eye to come back to Scotland, to my homeland, I had this box of gifts that they'd given me of my scrubs and my stethoscope, and a lot of people had written notes and cards and really personal notes about what it had meant to work with me for all these years. And I sat on that red-eye flight and read all these notes. So then I was finally able to kind of feel it.
Oh, that's so good. Yo, what are you gonna do with your stethoscope, your scrubs?
Oh.
They're
gonna be in a little frame in my behind my desk. Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And then, so last question for you, Kevin, is what is your message to fans that have been watching you on the show, that have loved this journey, that have tuned into every single episode?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to them?
I mean, thank you. Really, it's really a thank you. It really is. It's this show. None of these shows exist without the fans. Their loyalty, their passion for the show. I say sorry to the fans that my character drove crazy, but that's kind of the point. So I hope people enjoyed the character as much as I did playing him, and thank you for watching and supporting, and I love you guys.